So most of these, though, are tupelo trees. And if we could actually see the ground, we would see cypress knees in a big radius around this tree. And at first it looks like they're the knees to the other trees, but then you look.
Alabama is a world hotspot for biodiversity, ranking first in carnivorous plants, freshwater fishes, turtles, mussels, snails, and crayfish. New species are being described here all the time. Today's teenagers are next in line to be the decision makers of this rare world treasure that almost no one knows about. That's why for the Limestone County 4-H Naturalist Studies program students at Ardmore High School, the wilds of Alabama are their classroom. Through this program, a partnership of Limestone County 4-H and Ardmore High School, students are participating in multiple citizen science initiatives, contributing to the community through volunteer work, expanding creativity, learning to think critically about current community challenges, building outdoor skills, and learning to manage risk in remote environments. This interdisciplinary program is designed to provide a broad knowledge base in the arts and sciences, while giving teens the ability to hone in on specific areas of interest and the opportunity to become educators themselves.
Okay, we're here in the Carnivorous Plant Bog, where we have our third species of pitcher plants, which is the yellow pitcher plant. And as you see here, it's one of the largest pitcher plants. It gets around 34 inches and then 3 inches wide along the top. And a fact about these are the way it traps
Right here.
Okay, so right now we're in the bog looking at carnivorous plants, but this itself is a crawfish castle, or that's what I call them at least. And these are what the crawdads build, and they're little homes. That's why I call them castles, because they get really tall as well. And it's made out of mud and clay from the stream banks, and they build it up real tall and they live in it. And they also sit right here and get the little fish that go by. So this was probably a decent sized crawdad. I'd say right about there, because you can tell how big it is. And then at the bottom, it's kind of like its living room. But it's
This year, the Naturalist Studies program students have been involved in a lot of different activities. They became Alabama Water Watch volunteers. Alabama Water Watch is a citizen science initiative that collects data about Alabama's waterways through EPA-approved methods. The students learned about watershed stewardship, different factors that affect water quality, and how to identify and test for those indicators. The students volunteered at the Wonders of Water Festival at Northeast Alabama Community College. They helped over 400 Northeastern Alabama fourth graders through activities that taught them about conservation, wildlife, recycling, watershed stewardship, and the water cycle. Students participated in a birding outing at Wheeler Wildlife Refuge with the Birmingham Audubon Society. They were able to spot several endangered whooping cranes and talk to experts about their habitat. Students took a fall hike out in Bankhead National Forest to Ship Rock. They learned about the natural history of Alabama along the way. They learned about geology, botany, and the important skill of how to read a topographic map. Naturalist program students conquered their fears by rappelling in Little River Canyon with True Adventure Sports. They rappelled down an 85-foot cliff face overlooking the canyon. With helmets and lamps, students negotiated narrow slot canyons and house-sized rocks on a night hike in Cherokee Rock Village. Once at the summit on Lookout Mountain, they were able to see the lights of cities as far away as Atlanta, Georgia. Naturalist program students also took part in Hudson Alpha's Bicentennial Barcoding project. This citizen science initiative by Hudson Alpha Institute for Biotechnology aims to catalog all of Alabama's native plants. They have been collecting plant samples to send off for DNA extraction. Once the data is returned, they will match the genetic sequence to existing barcodes in a database. Their goal is to find a species that is not already cataloged in an international barcode of life. With the help of a botanist, our own Mr. England, and with the proper permits, they have collected rare and endangered species. They learned to use a dichotomous key and a microscope to help them identify the plants. The students also participated in a wilderness first aid certification course by Priority Medical Training. The 16-hour course provides them with a 2-year WFA certification. It combines classroom learning and hands-on practice. The final test was a realistic emergency scenario in an outdoor setting complete with actors and stage makeup. Students competed in the state Envirothon competition, where they exercised critical thinking and problem-solving skills while creating solutions to complex environmental issues. Students visited the Solon-Dixon Forestry Education Center, which is a 5,300-acre outdoor classroom run by Auburn University. They talked to experts in the field of forestry and learned how fire plays a role in the longleaf ecosystem. They spotted alligators in a sinkhole pond, saw gopher tortoise burrows, and walked through areas that had undergone prescribed burns at various intervals. They were able to talk to professionals who manage the endangered wildlife in Conecuh National Forest, such as the indigo snake, gopher tortoises, and red-cockaded woodpeckers. Alabama is number 1 in biodiversity of carnivorous plants, and many of them are found in the bogs of South Alabama. Students trekked out to see sundews, pitcher plants, bladderworts, and butterworts. They learned about this fire-dependent ecosystem and saw some rare and endangered carnivorous plants. Students built their outdoor skills and learned about the plants and wildlife that call Alabama home by taking a kayak trip out to the Champion Cypress in the Mobile-Tennesaw Delta. This area is nicknamed America's Amazon and has more biodiversity than any other comparable location on Earth. They navigated a maze of saw palmettos and cypress trees from Rice Creek to Briar Lake, across the Tennesaw River, into the area where the Champion Cypress sits. Students got to learn all about the reptiles and amphibians that call Alabama home from herpetologist Jimmy Stiles. With minnow nets and flashlights, they visited a pond a few miles from the Solon-Dixon Center. They learned to identify frog calls, saw some alligators, and got some expert tips on frog identification. They learned about the challenges that face endangered species and why they are important. They got to handle salamanders, snakes, lizards, and tortoises. They even got to see and hold a federally endangered indigo snake. One of the favorite activities of the year was the fossil hunt. Students visited a sand-bottom spring with permission of the Solon-Dixon Forestry Education Center and sifted for fossils. There were sand dollars, shark teeth, tube worms, barracuda teeth, all fossilized. The spring is now too far inland for these sorts of creatures, but they occurred in the ancient sea that used to cover the area. It's a way to gain first-hand experience of the natural history and geology of Alabama. Did you find something?
I found the barracuda too.
Oh, cool. Thanks to everyone who helped create this educational opportunity for our students by donating time, programming, supplies, or financial support. This includes AMVRC&D, DECO, Trail, PPG, Wild South, Limestone County Extension, the Solon-Dixon Forestry Education Center, Discovering Alabama, and Alabama Water Watch. Thank you.